Hey guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. So, just had the first semi-final go through, England versus New Zealand. England winning that game 19-7. What a cracking game. I did miss it live, but I had recorded it and it had to really not put the radio on, and my neighbour was coming across wanting to give me the score and stuff like that, and I really said, please, 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 don't. And I'm so glad I didn't get the score, because I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I thought it was an exceptionally good game of rugby. And I'm going to be completely honest, the better team did win on the day. I don't think there's anything that you could really say that was controversial, anything like that from my point of view. I just think that England side was so dominant. They were so dominant at the breakdown. At one point, I saw New Zealand and they were trying to attack, and they were just being pummeled backwards the whole time. Itoje was off the Tuolungi. I'm sorry, I saw Itoje was man of the match. I thought Tuolungi was man of the match. The guy, those two tackles that he did, the one against Bowden Barrett, where he caught him, was just absolutely amazing. And they were so quick off the line and tackling players way back, you know. And you could see the pressure was on. I don't understand why New Zealand didn't try anything different, but I don't think they could. I think they were just they just could not handle that the pace that England were playing at. It was just dominant tackles, not just tackling, dominant tackles, and I think that was the game plan all along, and I just don't think New Zealand could actually cope with it. And I don't think New Zealand played badly at all. I thought New Zealand played well, but maybe they were just at 1% off. But England were sublime. I can't put it any other way. Look, I'm in a really disappointed household. Everyone in my house supports New Zealand except me, so everyone's highly disappointed, and I'm sure Gordon's upstairs and he's not happy at all. But even he would say, you know, if you just look at the better team won on the day, and they did. But I'm just going to go through some of the stats here, because I'm looking at some of the match stats, and it's absolutely amazing. Like, I look at 620 run meters for New Zealand against 392. So New Zealand did have that ball, but it's just they just couldn't do it. They couldn't do anything with it. Look, most of the game was played in the New Zealand half. And you cannot win a game playing from your own half. Even if the discipline just seemed a little bit off with possession. What I don't understand is, if I look at possession, the territory, 62% to England, 30. So it just looks like New Zealand had the ball, and they just couldn't do anything with it. It's phenomenal. I just could not understand it. England also went there twice. They went over the try line. Obviously, the tries were disallowed, and there were, you know, the one wasn't interference, and the other one was passing the ball forward. But yeah, 21 offloads from New Zealand, only 10 from Rucks. Won 94% for New Zealand, 96% for England. Mauls, that's pretty, mauls. Turnovers conceded, 19 turnovers from New Zealand. That's a lot. And you know, you can't play that kind of game that New Zealand like to play if you're not going to be competing at the breakdown. I didn't think Scott Barrett had such a bad game, but you know, you can't bring up one player to play blindside, to play that kind of role, especially against Underhill and Curry. Both of them were exceptional over the ball. Underhill is just becoming slowly one of my favourite players. New Zealand side, I don't think Barrett could get into the game. I don't think any of the backline players could actually get into the game. It was difficult for them. It was just so intense, that line speed, that in-your-face tackling, going behind the cane line. But yeah, I'm the first to admit, I honestly still feel New Zealand, the All Blacks are the best rugby team in the world. They have been for a long time, and they've been world champions for a long time, and they've been the top of the rankings for a long time. And I still honestly do believe that. But the England that played today if they played this way, that next week they're definitely going to be the world champions. And I think that we may see England there on the cup. I just have this feeling they are that good. From that performance today, it really was a masterclass in tactical kicking from forward was brilliant. I didn't see Owen Farrell that much in the game. He was there, but it was more forward that was doing the kicks. He was kicking in the right space. He was hitting grass. Tuolangi was amazing. The wingers were great, but it was the forwards. It really was the forwards. How many ball runners they have? Literally, they were hitting that line at speed, and it was just constant, and just New Zealand were going back. And when England scored 2 minutes into the game, it was kind of scary. But I must admit, when we got to half time, I thought, okay, New Zealand are going to start bouncing back, and they're really going to get into the game. But they just couldn't. The big players just couldn't get into the game, and it was no one's fault. It's just England had the game plan today, and yeah, it's a pity. I think New Zealand wanted the three-peat. I think they had the quality to be able to go all the way. It's just they came up against an England side that was a lot hungrier today, and they thoroughly deserved their victory. You can't put anything against the way that England performed. And I did feel whoever won this game would probably win the World Cup. And the two teams in the other semi-finals, even though one's my team, I just don't think they had the same kind of clout that England has at the moment. That England pack is it's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I enjoyed the game. I was thoroughly entertained as a complete neutral. Look, yeah, it's a pity, another Southern Hemisphere side out. So the only team that can hold the Southern Hemisphere flag up high at the moment is South Africa, and let's hope that they can do something, because the trophy is going to go to the Northern Hemisphere, and yeah, as a Southern Hemisphere boy, I've got to support my hemisphere. But yeah, what did you guys think of the game? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was entertained the whole way through. I thought England played exceptionally well. I don't think New Zealand played badly at all. I really don't think they played badly. It was unlike when New Zealand played Ireland, and New Zealand just was a masterclass, and Ireland were poor. I just don't think New Zealand were poor today at all. I just think they could not get their normal rhythm, because normally you'd see New Zealand and that they were in the 22, and you could see they were in the 22, and then they'd kick, and then they'd only get just outside the 22, and then there'd be another line out, and they'd be back in their 22, and then they'd kick again, and it was exactly the same position every single time. At one point, they were in England's half, and every tackle they were going backwards. I think it was near the end of the game that it was difficult to watch. That they were just being dominated, going backwards the whole way. And you could see Kieran Reid was bleeding after the game. I think the guys, there was a hard, physical, fast. It was everything you wanted in a game. And congratulations to England. Congratulations to the England fans. Your team played exceptionally well, and they deserve their victory. And you guys absolutely deserve to be in the Rugby World Cup final. You definitely do. You've been one of the informed teams this year, and one of the informed teams at the World Cup. You've done exceptionally well in your pool stages. You saw off Australia. You've just now seen off New Zealand, and you guys can hold your heads up high. And yeah, and you guys looking forward to an exceptional semi-final tomorrow, and an absolutely great, cracking end of Rugby World Cup. But listen, guys, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful weekend, and here's looking forward to the game tomorrow. Chat soon. Cheers. Bye.